Hi everyone, it's Ray with Tarot Living. Today we're going to do a review on Touchstone Tarot. I just got it in the mail, so stay tuned for a few minutes, but right now I'm just going to actually open the box and I'm going to show you just a little sneak peek of what they look like. So let's open the box up and take a peek. So these are no longer being printed. However, there's still quite a few available, and you can actually get them at, essentially a regular price. So, Touchstone Tarot, that is a very adorable little box. There's a little book in here. Oh, the book is actually really thick. So there's the book. See how thick that is? So we'll take a look at that later. And there's a sneak peek of the cards. And oh, I love the backs of these cards. And look at the size of them, they're so fantastic. So there's one right there, that's the Fool. So I'll just open them up really quick. There we go. So I'm just going to actually take some of that plastic off so we can take a little sneak peek. Very exciting day. Look at that, and they're very straight too. I always look, is there a curvature, and they're very, very straight. So that's them right there. There would be the Magician. So stay tuned. Alright, so you've seen the big unveiling and the revealing of them when they came in the mail. So the Touchstone Tarot is a tarot deck that I did have arrive recently, and I want to actually do a review on it because I think it's worth people being able to see it a little bit more closely. So Touchstone Tarot is by Kat Black, who created the Golden Tarot as well. And I think the Golden Tarot was also, it's an earlier edition of her collage type art. So I've looked at it and I think this one is a little bit more refined looking, or I like this one a bit better than the Golden Tarot, but you can check that one out as well. She seems very talented, and my understanding is that there's still lots of these available. I just don't think they're doing another printing thereafter. And so she often will have on her, I think it's on her Facebook page, she had made note, there's still lots available and you can, get them from whichever website. I can't remember it offhand, so I'll just actually put a link or the information down below. So the Touchstone Tarot, like I said, is from Kat Black. You can see her name right there. It is quite a beautiful deck, and as I said previously, I'm absolutely in love with the backs of these decks because it's a little bit more antique looking, and the color of it, I just really like it. And I've heard it said that this is almost like a tarot deck of people, meaning that there's a lot of people and characters in this deck, and that is true. And we're going to go through that a little bit, and I'm going to show you several cards. So the book is actually quite extensive. It is fairly thick. And just to give you an idea of what is in this particular book, there are several spreads. So just to give you an idea that there's several pages of spreads. And then she goes right into the major arcana. And so you can see the information of the write-up. So it's not just like a little white book. I mean, there's definitely a write-up on each card with a little picture. So, extensive enough. The meanings to me are, quite similar, quite on the mark. Nothing that strikes me as being unusual or anything like that. So, yeah, I think it's actually quite good. I'm just looking at the Empress right now, for example. Matriarchal authority, fertility, creation, nurturing love. Well, can't be more typical than that, right? So very, very normal meanings. I don't think that this deck really would fall outside of, a typical kind of Rider-Waite system. It seems to follow Rider-Waite quite easily and quite well. Not that all decks should, I'm just giving you an indication that this one does. So anyway, most definitely a decent book. So if you got the deck and you were not very familiar with tarot, then you'd certainly be able to ascertain the meanings of the cards from that particular little book. So that's great. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these cards. I'm going to separate this out, and I'm not going to be able to, I don't have time to actually do scanning of every single card in every deck that I do a review on at this point. So I'm going to show you as many as I can as we go along. So I'm going to separate it out. I'm going to do a whole bunch that I really like. I'm going to do some that I'm not so fond of, just to show you a couple that I just can't relate to and see what you think. And then I'm going to show you some of the major arcana and some of the ways in which they're a little bit different. Some that are different. Some I think the depictions are really interesting, and some not so much. So just wanted you to have a full opportunity to see as many as possible. So let's start with something really, just one of the core cards. I really like her King of Coins. I don't think you can see that very well. There we go. Hope you can see that okay. King of Coins I think is fantastic. See how he's got all of his, some good things in front of him, and he's got some drink and cups and etc., etc. And I just think he's, with his green and all of the things that he's got around him, I think that's a great depiction of the King of Coins. Okay, and here is the Nine of Swords. Isn't that fantastic? The way the swords are kind of going two directions. I just think that's a really great card. The High Priestess I really like. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I think that's a great depiction of the High Priestess. This is an example of, well, let's do this one first. The Three of Wands, which I really like. That's great. And the Four of Wands, this is an example of where people are really at the forefront, and the Four of Wands little canopy is very much in the background. So I kind of would have liked that to be a little bit bigger, but nonetheless, I think that's what they mean when they say that this is a deck, that really features a lot of people. But I'm not sure that we need to see that woman with so close up. Like, I'm not sure what part of the meaning of that card exactly. I mean, maybe if there had been a couple, then that would have kind of made more sense to me. So I'm not sure about that one, but I just wanted to show you one where you can still pick out the Four of Wands and still very much a depiction of Rider-Waite that would be easy to see, but how the person, is kind of in the forefront of the card. This is an example, though, of where the person being in the forefront doesn't detract, but actually adds to. And you can see the Eight Swords behind, but, she's tied up, and I think it's a beautiful depiction of the Eight of Swords. Here's the Sun card, which is absolutely fabulous. I like that a lot. I think that's great. The wheel is great because in each part of the wheel, she's actually got, I think, a character from, it might be a court card or a character from each area. I think it's probably astrologically based. I'd have to check on that. I love the Death card. Look at that. The woman has died. The skeleton is behind. Someone is grieving. Like, that, to me, is just a beautiful depiction of the Death card. Six of Swords is great. Very typical, but great. Five of Swords is wonderful. Is that a butterfly? I think it's a butterfly up there. That's interesting. Four of Swords is fabulous. One of my favorite cards in the deck overall. Very Rider-Waite-ish. And here's Strength card. Okay, and this one is the Two of Swords, which is really neat. Now, is that a butterfly as well? Oh, it is. I'll have to read up on what all that means. And here is Ten of Cups. Very typical. Again, the people are in the forefront. Four of Cups. Very, very nice depiction. Nothing wrong with that. I like the Ten of Swords a lot. That's pretty neat. That's a really cool card. And I like this Temperance card. Look at that. Just kind of pouring something. And it's, again, very up close, though. You see how the people are really, they are in the foreground, they are the main feature, and then other things are around them. So if you're not someone who loves to have, larger depictions of people, this deck may not be for you, but if you like that, then it's quite neat. Here's another example of that exact thing, is that it's the Three of Swords. There's definitely some gray sky in the background, and she doesn't look happy. She doesn't look in extraordinary pain, but so I think, again, a couple of the depictions, maybe the people don't necessarily add to it. However, those are some of my favorite cards. I really like all those cards, and there's more. I just, I'm not going to show you all of what I like. So one of my things that I don't like about the deck, because I always like to be fair and say some of the things I really like and some of the things I not so much. I'm not really fond of the page depiction in them. The pages look as old as the night, and I'll tell you, one of the things that is challenging for me in a deck is when the pages are depicted as an older male and the pages really are not a young person, or I actually prefer if they use a young girl and say princess or even young girl as a page. That just works better for me in terms of my own visualization and what it triggers for me in terms of my memory. So those are pages. They're not my cup of tea. Just thought I'd let you know that. That's, every deck there's going to be a little something that you may not absolutely love. So the idea is to find a deck that works for you and something that you love the most. Some of the other cards that I'm not really, I don't think that the Nine of Wands has a particular clear depiction of what we would normally sort of understand the Nine of Wands to be for me personally. I'm just talking about the depiction itself. And the Ten of Wands the same. She looks in no real distress there, carrying around those wands. And the Seven of Wands is one of my least favorite cards because of the collaging in it. Is not as good as the other cards. I'm not sure why that one is a little bit funny. And I want to show you some of the major arcana so that you can see some of the differences. So the Chariot is represented by a female. Now she is in a chariot and she is very adorned and she's certainly going somewhere, but it's not as typical, and it's not necessarily my favorite depiction of the Chariot. Some of these, the major arcana I'm showing you right now that are different, some I really like actually. It just happens to be two in a row here that I'm not really that fond of. The Hangman, he's actually, you see how he's kind of, put those down. See how he's kind of hung by his arms? See that? Not so much my cup of tea. This I really like. The Moon card I think is pretty cool. I really quite like that card, I have to say. And Justice is pretty neat. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I kind of like this card. I just really think there's a drama to it, and it's unique, and there's the pillars on each side. So I'm a thumbs up on that one. The Hermit is interesting. He's got animals around him and his lantern. Not too bad. I don't mind that at all. So let me see if there's any others that I can quickly grab out of here that are the major arcana. Here's one. So here's the Fool. It's not bad at all. I like it. Oh, I like the Emperor. That is probably one of my favorite emperors perhaps I've seen. Really like that. Oh, the Empress is fabulous. Look at that. She's beautiful. Hierophant, very, religious based, very Catholic based. And The Lover's card is sort of just blah for me. And the Magician's okay. Don't mind the Magician. Kind of like the Owl. I think it's the Owl there. He's got all his tools with him. That one's not bad at all. So, I hope that gives you an idea of the Touchstone Tarot. And thumbs up, 2 thumbs up for the back of that card. I don't know what it is about it. It's one of my favorite backs of the cards next to the Victorian Romantic that I've seen in a while. I love just the brown and the antique feel to it, and the size of these cards are absolutely fantastic. They are, I'm going to tell you right now what size they are. I think they're 5 by 3.5, as I recall. I'm going to actually tell you because over 4.75, between 4.75 and 5, and about 3 and almost 3.5. Really, really awesome. Cardstock is excellent. See that? Very nice. Very much not overly laminated. It's got a matte finish in the back. See, I keep going back to the back. I'm kind of obsessed with it. And the box I showed you at the beginning, it is one of those little flip open boxes. And this is just one of the extra cards. Oh, and I have to tell you about the official extra card. Oh, I hope I didn't cover it up. I might have covered it up. It's called the Happy Squirrel card. And it's like it doesn't belong in obviously a regular tarot deck, but it's her extra card that she put in. I wish I had I don't have the picture offhand, but it's just like a squirrel, and it's called the Happy Squirrel card. And so if you pull that, it means that you're kind of taking things too seriously and that there's sort of a simple explanation and to enjoy things more. So kind of lighten up, I guess. And so that's her extra card that she has in the deck. So that's pretty neat. And again, the box is fantastic. So it's a great deck. If you like something that looks a little bit more antique-ish and, you know, just has kind of a very calm, you know, darker sort of appearance, like with a lot of the browns in it, it might be the deck for you. It's really very nice. And I've done some readings for myself with it, because I usually read for others with either 1 or 2 different decks. But I've done some readings for myself, and I have absolutely no problem reading this deck in terms of quickly being able to see, you know, what the card is and what the meaning might be. So really my only little glitch is the pages, and, you know, I think if, you know, just even little kids would have been kind of better to put as pages, because they look very similar to the Knights. And I've seen that in another deck as well. Not my favorite thing. So, but aside from that, I think it's a pretty great deck, and I'm glad that I got it. So I just wanted to do a review on it and let you know what it's like and show you several of the cards. So I hope that helps. Thanks for watching Tarot Living. Take care.